Imagine a room that is nearly empty. Soft light filters through a washi paper screen, painting strokes on the wall as gentle as a breath. Underfoot, the tatami mat is cool and resilient. A light breeze glides by like a whisper. There isn't much to see, but there is so much to feel. The scent of fresh grass, the quiet presence of wood, a silence long enough for the mind to finally slow down. In that moment, you realize the room is breathing, and so are you. In a world that equates full with enough, the Japanese choose the opposite path. They intentionally leave empty spaces for light to pass through, for air to circulate, and for a person to have room to step back and see themselves. When we try to fill our homes with things, we often unintentionally fill up the essential pauses the heart needs. But in Japan, the art of living lies in knowing what to leave out. Leaving out the noise, the excess, the fear of not having enough, so that what remains can be lived more deeply. Today, we will explore the 5 most fundamental yet essential items of a Japanese minimalist home. Things that have every reason to exist. They don't show off, they don't overwhelm. They simply and silently support daily life. Through each object, you will see that having less isn't about hardship or denying comfort, but a conscious choice. Choosing materials that breathe, choosing light that knows its limits, and choosing a rhythm of life that knows when to pause. The goal of this journey is simple, so that when you close the door, you aren't pulled away by your possessions, but are instead guided home by the space itself, to a place where freedom and peace aren't found somewhere far away, but simply in having enough empty space for one complete breath. If you woke up tomorrow morning in a room that was 70% empty space, what would you feel first? A sense of lack, or a space open enough to breathe? In Japan, the answer usually leans toward the second. In that moment, you realize, beauty here isn't created by adding, but by leaving out. I remember an afternoon in Kyoto, stepping past the Genkan and pausing for a beat. No one told me to stop, but the cool wooden floor, the breeze slipping through the shoji screen, and the tokonoma alcove holding just a single flower branch made my body halt on its own. It was then I understood. Beauty here isn't created by adding, but by leaving out. There was space for the eyes to rest, for the mind to quiet, and for the smallest things to have a chance to speak. The philosophy of of negative space, weaves into everything. The pause between 2 beats of a taiko drum, the sliver of light cutting through a concrete wall by Tadao Ando, and the silence long enough for a sentence to become meaningful. In daily life, is the practice of taking away in order to connect more deeply. Space between objects so that light and air can move. Space in your schedule so a meal can have flavor. Space between people so that presence can feel full. When you arrange your home with this spirit, every object has a reason for being there, and the rest belongs to your breathing room. Try one small action today. Pick a surface, a tabletop, a kitchen counter, a nightstand. Clear it completely. Then, place just one thing on it that holds meaning for you. A ceramic bowl, a photograph, a single leaf. Take 2 steps back, take 3 deep breaths, and then ask yourself, how does this empty space make me feel? If you feel just a little bit lighter, that is opening a door for you. From that foundation, let's step through the door of a Japanese home, a place where every object knows how to breathe. A Japanese minimalist home doesn't need much, it just needs what is right. In the next part, we will walk through 5 essential items, things that are just enough to support a life, while leaving the rest of the space to nurture your peace. 1. The tatami mat. Have you ever placed your bare feet on a surface that is cool and gentle, soft yet firm, and in that very moment, felt your heartbeat slow down? A tatami mat offers exactly that feeling, a gentle ground in the midst of a hurried life, a place where the body knows to stop, and the mind knows to breathe. In Japan, tatami is not just flooring, it is a way to touch nature, an invitation to return to the intentional simplicity of Japanese minimalism. Since the Heian period, tatami was once a privilege of the aristocracy. Thin and foldable, used for sitting in bright, airy wooden spaces. Over the centuries, from living rooms to tea rooms, tatami gradually covered the floors of homes, transforming rooms into places where people lived closer to the ground, where the distance between a hand and the floor was close enough to invite us to slow down. The beauty of tatami lies in its materials. A layer of woven igusa rush releases the faint scent of fresh grass. A core of rice straw provides resilience, and its simple cloth edges serve as a line reminding us of the boundaries of moderation. Over time, its pale green hue mellows into a honey gold, like a quiet wabi-sabi lesson in gentle, unannounced change. I remember the first time I stepped into a wajitsu, a traditional Japanese room, in Nara. The host quietly motioned for me to leave my shoes at the genkan. My feet touched the tatami, I inhaled deeply, and the room, adorned with only a single vase of wildflowers in the tokonoma alcove, suddenly felt incredibly spacious. It wasn't because there was less furniture, but because the tatami created a space that knows how to listen. On that surface, sounds became softer, light suddenly took shape, and the low, eye-level conversation made us feel closer. The magic of the tatami is that it is both an object and a ritual. At night, a futon is laid directly on the mat, bringing sleep closer to the rhythm of the earth. In the morning, the futon is folded away, and the room instantly transforms into a space for reading, working, or a short meditation. To live with tatami is to live with a rhythm of opening and closing, unfolding and folding, using and resting, a small cycle that teaches us to pause at the right moment to breathe. If you don't have a tatami room, its spirit can still be present. Choose a small corner and place a natural fiber rug or a thin rush mat. Designate that place as a barefoot zone. Every time you enter, take off your shoes and leave your phone outside. In the morning, sit low with a cup of tea, your back straight, the soles of your feet connecting with the surface, and take 3 deep breaths. In the evening, clear the surface, wipe it quickly with a damp cloth, and let the gentle scent of grass or wood infuse the air. On the weekend, take the mat outside to air in the sun for a few hours. A small gesture, but enough for the room to soak in the light, and for you to soak in the peace. Today, you can start with a very simple act. Clear the floor by your bed or next to a window until nothing is left but a natural mat and one single object you love. Perhaps a sitting cushion, or maybe a book. Each time you pass by, let your bare feet touch it and pause for a brief moment as if you were gently knocking on your own door. You will realize that a sense of calm doesn't come from owning more, but from connecting more deeply with the surface that supports you every day. And when the floor knows how to breathe, the rest of the house finds its rhythm. Less furniture, more presence, like a quiet garden where the passing wind is enough to make it beautiful. And when the floor knows how to breathe, you too learn to breathe with your home. When the floor has learned to breathe, it's time for the dining table to learn how to draw people together. 2. The chabudai table. Have you ever tried eating at a table that was only as high as your knees? If the dining table in your home were suddenly half its height, would your conversations grow taller? In Japan, the answer is believed to be yes. The chabudai, a simple low table, places everyone at eye level so that a meal is not just about eating, but about being close. When the body has to sit lower, the pace of life also softens. And we realize what nourishes us is sometimes not the food, but the shortened distance between our hearts. I remember an evening in the middle of the rainy season in Kamakura. It was a small tatami room. Outside the veranda, the rain fell steadily. Inside, a pot of miso soup was still steaming. My grandmother placed the chabudai in the center of the room, setting out a few small bowls, a plate of grilled fish, and some pickled vegetables. The whole family sat in a circle on zabuton cushions, our backs straight, our heads slightly bowed. Itadakimasu, a simple phrase that seemed to pull every scattered thought back to the present moment. No one was at the head of the table. Everyone was equal, eye to eye, passing cups of tea to one another. The chabudai does something beautifully simple. It erases the invisible hierarchy, allowing care to find the most direct path. Born much later than other traditions, the chabudai has modern origins, but holds a classic spirit, a low, flat surface with legs that fold away, allowing it to appear and disappear as needed. In the morning, it's a study desk. At noon, a dining table. By evening, folded and stored, the room becomes spacious once more. The philosophy of Japanese minimalism lies right there in that function. Objects serve life and then make way for empty space, to restore the spirit. When everything is brought lower, we see more clearly the important things that were already close to us. You might not have a tatami room, and you may not be used to sitting in the formal seiza position. That's okay. What defines a chabudai, first and foremost, is the height of presence. Try lowering your dinner tonight. Pull your coffee table into the middle of the room, or lay down a natural fiber rug, and place a low, flat surface on top, perhaps a large wooden tray. Sit on thin cushions or a floor chair, keeping your back as straight as is comfortable and your legs relaxed. If it's difficult, lean against a wall or bend one knee. Respect your body. Place your phones outside the table circle. Prepare a simple meal, maybe in the Ichiju Sansai style. One light soup, one main dish, and two very small sides. The important part isn't the recipe, but the way you share from common dishes in the center. Before you begin, take one deep breath and quietly say, "Thank you for this meal." While you eat, maintain a slow pace. Serve the person next to you before serving yourself. Rest your chopsticks between bites and listen more than you speak. After the meal, wipe the tabletop together, fold it away, and return the room to the open state it was in before, as if nothing had been set up at all. Try to spend 20 minutes each day in this circle of peace around a low table, even if you are by yourself. Have a cup of tea, a small notebook, and write down 5 things you're grateful for. The act of lowering your body keeps the mind from racing ahead. The act of shrinking the surface invites you to choose less and focus more. Gradually, you will find that the pressure isn't to do more to be worthy, but simply to be fully present in a single meal, a single conversation, a single breath. A low table may not change your life overnight, but every time you sit down to it, it reminds you that peace has always been right here, at eye level. 3. The folding futon. If your bed disappeared every morning and your bedroom suddenly became a reading room, a workspace, or a place for a 10-minute stretch, would your mind feel lighter? In Japan, the futon, a foldable bedding set consisting of a floor mattress and a quilt, was born to answer that very question. We sleep deeply when night comes, and we let go when the dawn opens its doors. Each cycle of unfolding and folding is a quiet whisper of impermanence. Everything arrives to support us, and then makes way for a new day. I still remember a night at a ryokan beside a pine forest. As evening fell, the shoji screens were closed, and the staff quietly spread the futon out on the tatami floor. The mattress was firm, yet gentle. The quilt carried the faint scent of clean cotton, and the buckwheat hull pillow offered soothing support for my neck. With the sound of insects just outside the veranda, my body slowly settled, and sleep came like water seeping into grass. The next morning, the futon was neatly folded and stored in a closet, returning the room to empty space. Light flooded in, the floor felt cool, and my breath suddenly felt longer. I understood why the Japanese cherish this small ritual. It teaches us to put things down at the right time, like a rhythmic beat that keeps life from becoming stagnant with habit. The power of the futon lies in its rhythm. In the evening, spreading the mattress on the floor creates a feeling of returning to the earth, helping to align the spine and bring the mind closer to the body. In the morning, folding it away allows the space to transform instantly, letting us see life through a frame that is open rather than fixed. The philosophy of the futon is captured entirely in this rhythm of release, unfolding it at night to welcome rest, and folding it away in the morning to grant freedom back to the space, a gentle reminder of impermanence and how to let go at the right moment. You can bring the spirit of the futon into your own home, even if you use a Western-style bed. Practice a ritual of release. After waking up, fold your comforter neatly into a block, stand your pillows upright, and smooth the sheets all in 90 seconds. At the end of the day, take 3 minutes to make the bed with presence. Place your hands on the mattress, breathe deeply, and imagine you are spreading out a space of peace, not just an object. If your room is small, try a thin mattress pad on a natural rug. In the morning, store it in a closet or a large basket, and the floor will instantly feel more expansive. Every weekend, open a window to let the sun touch your blankets and flip the mattress to air it out. This simple act is good for the materials, and it reminds us that sleep is a friend that comes and goes. On days when you're tired and don't feel like folding anything, start with 1/3. Just fold the blanket and leave the mattress, or simply clear the surface of your nightstand and place a small leaf there as a signal to end the day. Gradually, your body will remember the rhythm. Unfold to rest completely and fold to live completely. You can add a 1-minute stretch before lying down. Sit low, back straight, gently roll your shoulders, and place your hands on your stomach to feel your breath. As you lie down, count down slowly from 5 to 1. When you wake up, smile at the blanket waiting to be folded. A small gesture powerful enough to reset your mood. The futon teaches us a gentle truth. What helps us sleep deeply isn't the thickness of the mattress, but the ability to let go at just the right time. And in the morning, when you fold away the night's sleep, you also open up a spacious day for yourself, as light as the way the sun falls upon the floor. 4. The tansu chest. If every item in your home had its own dedicated house, would you ever have to search for it again? In Japan, the answer lies within the tansu, a simple yet intelligent wooden chest, where drawers, handles, wood grain, and empty space work together like a piece of quiet music. A tansu doesn't just hold things, it creates a philosophy. Outer order is the shortest path to inner stillness. It teaches us how to store with intention, store for neatness, store for peace, and most importantly, store to free the mind from invisible clutter. When every object has a tidy home, our mind too finds its own quiet space. I remember a morning in a small coastal town where a carpenter opened an old tansu chest. The sound of the drawer sliding out was as soft as a breath, and the faint scent of kiri wood filled the room. He said, "Objects too need a place to come home to." On the bottom level were winter robes. Above, handkerchiefs folded like envelopes. A small locked compartment held important papers, and a hidden drawer was reserved for tea. There was no showing off, just an order so refined that every time you opened the chest, you also opened up a sense of calm. When a tansu is in its rightful place, the room needs no further explanation. Your eyes see it, and you know what to do next. The spirit of Japanese minimalism enters the tansu through 3 simple movements: choose, place, and return. To choose is to decide what deserves to stay. Clothes that fit well, documents that are still valuable, items you have actually used within the last season. To place is to create a fixed address for each group of items. This drawer is always for socks. That one for tea, the one deep in the back for keepsakes, so your hand can follow a prearranged memory. To return is the small ritual after use, putting an item back in its correct drawer and closing it decisively, like placing a neat period at the end of a sentence. By repeating these 3 movements, the tansu becomes the keeper of life's rhythm. Only when your things have come home can your mind be free. You don't need to own an antique chest to grasp this essence. Start with the furniture you already have by performing one action: empty one drawer. Take everything out, wipe the surface clean, take a deep breath, and then put back only the items you have truly used in the last 4 to 6 weeks. For anything you're unsure about, place it in a temporary box and set a reminder to review it in a month. Once the drawer's function is clear, leave a thin sliver of empty space at the front, a little maw, so your fingers can always touch a bit of ease. Every time you open it, you'll feel a sense of relief, knowing there is still room to breathe, and therefore no need to keep accumulating more. A simple principle helps the tansu live in harmony with you. One in, one out. When a new shirt enters the drawer, another must leave to be donated, sold, or recycled. With each season, rotate your belongings. Thicker items move to the bottom, lighter ones to the top, and keepsakes are stored deep inside a hidden drawer, just as we protect memories, without letting them spill into the present. If your home is small, think of the tansu as a mobile unit. A stair-step chest can provide storage while also serving as a walkway. A kitchen mizuya chest keeps dishes tidy and invites you to cook simple, warm meals. When you store things with intention, you will notice a subtle shift in the rhythm of your life. Less time spent frantically searching for things, and more time being present. Less agitation over where to put this, and more peace from knowing where things go. And every time your hand grasps the pull, slides the drawer out, and closes it again, you are relearning how to finish an action completely. One opening, one closing, one breath. Try this today. Choose one drawer, make it empty and clear, and then leave behind a small strip of space like a quiet smile. You will find that the order inside the chest is a reflection of the gentleness inside of you. 5. The washi paper lantern. If tonight you turned off all the bright white lights and left only a single warm glow behind a thin layer of paper, would the room suddenly whisper and slow down? In Japan, this is called washi no akari, the light that passes through washi paper. The soul of a washi lantern is captured in 2 words: humility and moderation. Its light doesn't seek to completely banish the darkness, but to gently blend into the space. It doesn't overwhelm. It simply and silently illuminates just enough for the eyes to rest and the mind to settle. And when light knows restraint, when it knows what is just enough, it teaches us that the deepest peace comes not from dazzling displays, but from cherishing the quiet pauses and the shadows in our lives. I remember an autumn night in Gifu, where paper lanterns or chochin hung along the path like stars brought down to arm's reach. Beneath the washi paper, woven from mulberry fibers, the soft glow didn't draw harsh lines. It embraced the darkness, leaving a delicate fringe between light and shadow, where stories could continue to be whispered. The washi lantern teaches us the lesson of wabi-sabi, beauty that comes from simplicity and the marks of time. The paper will yellow, the fibers will become more pronounced, the edges might fray slightly, and that is life, with nothing to hide. It also teaches us about mujo, or impermanence. Turning on the lamp as evening falls is to light a ritual. Turning it off when the night is deep enough is to know when to stop. When light passes through a natural material, it becomes breathable. Not too bright, not too dim, like a silent friend sitting beside you, not judging, just present. In a practical sense, a low lamp with a soft, warm light can change the rhythm of your home this very evening. Place the lamp at or below eye level when you are seated, so the light doesn't shine directly in your face, but spreads evenly across the wall. If you have an empty corner, place it there, allowing that bit of ma, or negative space, to be gently illuminated, drawing your eyes away from screens and guiding your body into a state of preparing for rest. Establish an indoor sunset hour. From the moment you turn on the washi lamp, turn off your notifications, brew a cup of tea or warm water, and write down 3 things you're grateful for, or 1 thing you choose not to do tonight. Afterward, read 10 pages of a book slowly or simply sit still for 5 minutes, following your breath and the movement of light and shadow on the wall. When you're ready for sleep, turn off the lamp with a deliberate gesture, as if closing a story, so that darkness is no longer something to fear, but a blanket of tranquility. You don't need an authentic andon or an original Akari lamp to touch this spirit. A lampshade made of linen, rice paper, or even a sheet of vellum wrapped around a small light source can create the same gentle effect. The important thing is what is enough. Enough light to see your own hands and enough darkness to see your own heart. Among the many things you could add, try taking away 1 bright light, 1 harsh glare, and you will realize that the space takes a half step back so that you can take a step closer to yourself. Washi light doesn't demand a big change. It only suggests a new habit. Each evening, dim the brightness of your life. Because when the room softens, your thoughts soften too, like the surface of water that stills when the wind knows when to stop. After exploring the soul of each of these items, perhaps you're asking yourself, how can I bring this spirit into my own home, even if I'm just starting with 1 small corner? Let's try to create a space like that together. Imagine, in your current home, setting aside a small space just to breathe. It's not for display nor for storage, but for returning to yourself. Start by choosing a corner that is friendly with light, near a window, beside a bookshelf, or on a balcony with enough space to lean against the wall. Don't aim for a large area. A natural fiber rug, a sitting cushion, and a soft lamp are enough. Before adding anything, completely clear that space. Wipe the surfaces, open the window, and let fresh air touch the walls. When the space is empty, the mind feels empty too, and that is the foundation upon which you can design your own peace. Next, invite materials that know how to breathe to enter. A rush mat or a natural fiber rug for your feet to touch the ground. A small wooden box like a tiny tansu to hold a few essentials. The delicate green of a single houseplant. If you have a lamp, choose one where the light passes through a soft material, paper, or raw linen, and place it low, at sitting level, so that shadows can embrace the light instead of being pushed away. The wall can remain empty, and the floor can hold a bit of ma, a resting place for the eyes, a breathing space for the soul. The minimalism here isn't about absence, but about intentional emptiness, so that what truly matters can become clearer. When the physical elements are settled, infuse it with a rhythm of life. In the morning, sit down for 2 minutes, your back against the wall, your feet on the mat. Take 3 long breaths and then fold away any blankets or pillows. Before you leave, return each object to its address, closing a small circle of order. In the evening, return to that corner as you would walk through a garden. Turn on the soft lamp, pour some warm water, and write 3 lines about what you want to continue, what you want to let go of, and what you are grateful for. Each week, expand the ritual just a little. Air the mat in the sun, gently wipe the wooden box, trim an old leaf. These slow, careful acts are how you tell yourself, I deserve to live slowly. If your home is small, give your objects a rhythm of appearing and disappearing. When you're done with something, return it to its box. When you finish a book, put it away. When you bring one new thing in, invite an old one to leave. Enough is the only standard. When you feel the restless urge to buy more, sit down in this corner first. Look at the empty space you've protected and ask yourself if what you truly lack is another object or 5 minutes of presence. After a few days, you will notice that the change comes not from an expensive item, but from a gentle, repeated habit. Clearing a space, placing things with intention, lighting it softly, and then closing the ritual. And then, in the middle of a rushing life, you will always have a place to come home to. As small as a corner of a room, but wide enough for a soul. As we complete our journey through these 5 simple objects, the breathing tatami mat, the chabudai table that brings people closer, the folding futon that teaches us to let go, the tansu chest that maintains a gentle order, and the washi paper lantern that illuminates with moderation, we realize the essence lies not in the objects, but in the rhythm of life. Each item is an invitation to live slowly enough to hear yourself more clearly, to live with less so your mind can be lighter, and to live with gratitude so that even the smallest things have a chance to shine. From Ma, the intentional empty space, to wabi-sabi, the beauty of the marks of time, they all whisper that freedom is found not in having more, but in having enough. If a home is left with only the things that have a reason to be there, the rest belongs to you. The time for a cup of tea, the soft light for a page in a book, the breathing room for a moment of peace. Having less isn't hardship. It is the choice to place presence before possessions, and the substance of living before the appearance of success. Now, let this philosophy step into your home. Try tidying your room and pick out 5 items that truly make you feel at peace when you touch them. When you do that, you will understand why the Japanese call this the art of living. If you have felt a sense of peace in these past few minutes, please share this with a friend who also needs to slow down and breathe. Start tonight. Clear a surface, light a soft lamp, and pour a pot of warm tea. The scene settles. The washi light reflects on the wood grain. The steam from the tea rises in a thin thread. The wall is as still as a lake's surface. You sit down and feel your breath return, and in that simplicity, the house softly says, "Just this much is enough."